You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. 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 You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. Cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
Counter-terrorists win.
Loot.bet, made for live betting.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the broadcast. Of course, DreamEaters versus HAVU going to be our third and final best of 3 of the night. And of course, as we get into this one, first map is going to be Overpass, followed then by, I believe, to be Dust 2, and the third map being Train if it is needed. And DreamEaters, we saw them maybe struggle a little bit against alternate attacks on this map, but weirdly enough have picked into it, even when HAVU themselves have a 78% win rate on this map. So maybe a revitalized D that we see today, but an interesting series nevertheless.
Yeah, this veto in general is really, really good for HAVU. But in the same strain, it's pretty comfortable for DreamEaters, similar to our previous series. I think ultimately the maps are not going to make too much of a difference. It's going to come down to the matchup, you know, the players on the day and how they perform, because, like you say, it's a pretty good map for HAVU. But DreamEaters have played it recently, and they've obviously got a very, very recent replay demo, you know, showing to go back over and work out what went wrong. And hopefully they've done that. You know, they've had plenty of time here across the course of the day to go back and figure out which parts of their game were not so strong. So hopefully they have worked on it, and maybe they can give us a good showing once again, but even better. Obviously, they did end up winning on Overpass, I believe, in overtime, though, which maybe, you know, is not so comfortable, especially when you're picking it. You want it to be a bit more decisive than that. So we'll see what's changed. I just feel like a little bit, you know, HAVU, this side that's been together for so long, had ups and downs. As you said, their form getting somewhat better in recent months, maybe in part due to, you know, the comeuppance events and a spur of national CS. But it certainly will be interesting to see, I think, how they perform. I have high hopes for this one, though. I think it's going to be kind of exciting, at least in the opening sense. I feel Dust 2 should be HAVU's playground, though. So I think if they're to take this series, DreamEaters is going to need this first match.
Yeah, I've definitely got to agree, especially with the fact that HAVU themselves, like you said, have a very competent map pool, even more so than what DreamEaters have at the moment on some of the maps, and they play a little bit more of a broader map pool. I mean, they do have 6 out of 7 maps played, but only one of those is an insta-ban. Mirage, they have no results on. They've played 5 maps, lost every single one of them. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where we do end up here in the series overall. I mean, Dust 2 looking like a decent map as well for both sides, so it's really back and forward here. And as you said, maps shouldn't be deciding this. It should be all down to what happens in the server. But knife round to kick things off and decide who actually goes and takes the CT side choice or whatever they want to do. But like you said, DreamEaters, they played a series today actually earlier, and it was a fairly easy victory for them. I mean, it was against a side that arguably is a mix or whatever, fairly newly formed. It was with One Way, only notable player being Smike in that roster, and they won very easily. It was a quick 2-0, both of them being 16-5. So yeah, one of those on Overpass as well with a 13-2 T side half. We should be expecting DreamEaters to be fired up and ready for this, but it's going to be interesting to see where it comes down to. I think if DreamEaters stomp the first, then we could even see a quick series in itself. But this one, filled with so many questions, it definitely shouldn't be that way.
Hopefully you should be getting into the action quickly then, as we can have some of those questions answered, one would hope. I believe there were some server issues beforehand, so they're probably just checking everything's okay, but it does appear as we hear those beautiful tick noises coming in, that's generally the 10-second countdown to refresh things here, so we will indeed be getting fully into the action with HAVU starting off on that CT side. Interestingly enough, no kits being bought up. Straight up there with the Kevlar and double utility meanwhile for DreamEaters, so again, creeping in, you know, it is, I think, becoming a mainstay in the meta on that T side. A lot of teams who, at the very least, are a bit more prepared like to take the methodical rounds. I think we went through a great deal of time. Actually, I'll hold the point because we've got a very quick bit of aggression coming through from HAVU here, flanking off behind. DreamEaters are ready for it, though, maybe doing their homework. Kinky going to find 2 quick headies, and it will be a pretty hefty advantage right here for DreamEaters early on.
Yeah, and what a beautiful start. Now into a 5-on-3 that HAVU surely can't have any way of mastering in their favor. The B bomb site looking to be eventually played upon, but So far, a slow approach from DreamEaters, and you do like to see it. Just bringing the pace down to a halt, it just ensures that DreamEaters have maximum amounts of information, and you can tell right now as they hear Twixie jumping across that short boost, they might even divert to this A site, and yeah, it seems like that is exactly going to be the case, so we'll see what they can bring to the table. Dore going to be the first man in line, has his back turned though. Gonna get absolutely nothing out of this. Speedak will try and burst out onto the B bomb site as well, and he even does find the kill onto Saw, which so far a flawless pistol round. The only damage being taken is on Speedak there. All in the hands of Twixie, gushed down to 7 HP. And that's a simple shutdown. A beautiful pistol round from DreamEaters, especially on that T side, and a really confident beginning from them.
Yeah, we'll see how HAVU respond here. Not going to be a great deal coming in for them, but all the same, it could work out. I mean, the scout, especially for me, is certainly interesting, and it's something that DreamEaters are going to have to respect, because this could be problematic for sure. Slowly holding long, and so up against the SMGs, does miss an initial shot. Got to be careful. The AKs are going to start to, move in tow, so he's going to back away, but still a great deal of long-range angles that he can battle it out in. Got to be careful of short as well, though. Taking bits of damage here, there, and everywhere, it seems, as the T's now going to get a bit more aggressive. They've got the CTs contained in the A site. Do need to be careful. A lot of nade damage onto Sviat coming in. 15 HP for him. He's not really rung off that many shots, honestly, so he's going to be a little bit annoyed about that one. Thankfully, there's not more players around there. Nice pickup coming in from Speedak. Tags landing, however, for this scout. A good couple of them, in fact. Another kill coming through for the T side, though, bodes well. Zori being tagged down low. One would assume that's going to be all she wrote, but look at these HP bars right now. This really could swing out of control, but Speedak, he's gotten aggressive into bank. He'll take out Twixie. That's kind of the flank they were hoping for, and thank God for that. DreamEaters clean it up. It was looking dicey in the mid-round, but they hit their mark time after time after time. Pretty good stuff, and they will get that second round on the board. Could have been a hell of a lot closer, though.
Yeah, with so much damage done, that could have gone an entirely different way, but DreamEaters get a little bit of luck on their side, keep all their players alive. No one yet to have died on this T side. With the way that this third round is going already, shouldn't be the case for this one as well. Bomb is fast at the back of Monster, not aggressing. The rest just playing, again, a fairly standard default. Although this is a real interesting boost. 2 players into water, 2 on their heads as well, giving them a little bit of a looking angle. Nice nade, though. Going to do no damage, unfortunately, but the idea was there. But so far, HAVU, of course, stacking that B site will be giving the entire map control up toward HAVU. Sorry, up toward DreamEaters. Should be a fairly simple third round. The buy round, of course, being the one that adds all the impact, the one that HAVU can bring to light. So far, I mean, it's a much better start than we saw against alternate attacks. I feel like for me, it's ATN who make the games go close, not their opponents. They have such a tendency to have these close, drawn-out battles that maybe it gives us an impression that DreamEaters make these overpass games go this close or go to that extent. But, I mean, so far, it's a really positive start for them, and the Seeker round should be exactly the same, 3-0 before HAVU can go for that purchase.
Yeah, looking to just clean things up fairly simply here. Hopefully for the DreamEaters side, no crazy shenanigans coming in, but this will be the real test. Again, there is always that sort of random factor associated with the pistol rounds. Sword has managed to find one, but I think that's going to be pretty much all she wrote, as Slowy will get taken down. So yeah, but there can be a bit of a random element. Like I say, the Glock train can be difficult to stop if you don't hit the first sort of 2 or 3 shots of your USB. And I think that's a little bit of what happens here. However, we will see whether they're able to keep things up. Once again, DreamEaters, played it recently, got a good record of what to do and what not to do, what went wrong for them yesterday in certain areas to make it so close. Oh, Hoodie, very lucky indeed. The quick switch mechanic that, maybe some players not too aware of. Oh, he will get taken down. At the very least, Zori is there to trade it. So a 4-on-3 coming in very early on. HAVU, though, are the victors in the early exchanges.
And so far, especially with DreamEaters now a little misguided, but definitely not confirmed to a site. Looks like B will be the precipice here and not be the best of choice with Slowy in lower water, and we have that second mana support by the looks of things being Twixy in lower just to ensure that you have a very competent hold here for HAVU. Here comes the smokes. There is, of course, that man disadvantage they have to already consider. As they do make their way onto the bomb site, rotation already to be called out of the CTs. A really nice setup so far. Going to be giving HAVU a much better chance. Saw being shut down into a one-on-one though. Kinky finds 3 very rapid kills. Now bomb looking to be planted. And should be able to do so, which definitely confirmed. But Zorate, with the AWP, is always going to have the advantage. Now has spotted the man though here for Kinky. Trying to play off of the back of the peak by the looks of things, but Zorate lands it. That's the kill, closes down the round for HAVU, and that's a first for them on the CT side. A very, very close round, though. 4 players lost is never good for a CT side to begin it like this fashion, especially with DreamEaters stacked for money. But it's a round nevertheless, and one that HAVU can look to make the ends meet of moving forward.
We'll certainly be happy with the end result, maybe not the means to get there, like you say, but it's workable, it's doable, and it does give them some room to get back into it. And kind of realize that they're at a bit of a disadvantage in this round. It's going to be a very aggressive play on the A side of things. 3 players around middle, 1 in close contact just behind them in the bathrooms. That AWP watching connector. And I think they're about ready to push forwards here on the mid side of things. Unfortunately, no one is showing themselves super early on, but DreamEaters are around. The aggression, I mean, it gets them a bit of control, but ultimately not coming to a head. So they're just going to back away, go back into the conventional setup, but they do seem wary of the fact that they're still around A, making sure to keep a few players around. And again, this is a nice setup over towards long as well. A pretty classic setup, especially if that AWP can get a kill and survive. Might catch a player tunneling to take him down, and that looks like it might just be the case. Oh, it's a bit unfortunate the flash comes through, but there it is. I mean, Saw gets 1. He sets up Zori in pretty good position to get another, and also does a hell of a lot of damage onto Kinky. So it's a 4-on-3 that could very quickly swing in favor of HAVU heavily, not just a little bit. Sviet, though, coming in from short, catches off 1, but there's another player there to trade it. HAVU have done very well to set up on this A site to make sure they secure the round.
Oh, and look at Twixy as well. Position just perfect. Be closing down. Oh, for the final kills, actually. Not even just the first. That UMP working wonders. Upgraded into an AK, and HAVU, they get themselves a second on the board. DreamEaters now starting to face off a little bit of the early music. Maybe that's the one thing that they spoke about. They make games close. Maybe this is going to be starting to be one of them. DreamEaters do go for the rebite. UMP in the hands of Forrester Kinky, not even onto any conceivable rifle. Only a CZ in hand for him. 3 AKs at least, and a plethora of utility that they can work with, but nothing outright that on paper wins them around just yet. Going to have to craft this one very expertly. Side like DreamEaters achieving what they have done in the past month or so. Definitely be a possibility. These guys are looking hot at the moment. Slowy, though, playing towards short. That smoke from the nade Give him a little bit of an opportunity to peek out, check the information. Realizes no one there immediately. The fact for DreamEaters is, again, they're playing a very slow T-side pace, which some teams can handle, some teams definitely can't. DreamEaters, for me, are one of those where it's very hit or miss with their pace. If they get an early read on the side, then they can go a little slower and move methodically, but and we saw what happened with the time running out in that past overpass game, so see, 40 seconds on the clock approaching. Zore peeking into toilet. Going to be a first kill for him already. Will back away, lose a little bit of health, but has the support already in DreamEaters. Now adds a lot of contention. Kinky to fall. And honestly, this should be the round already done. With 3 players trying to enter the A site. The defense is already insurmountable, and well, Hoodie will be shutting down one with Forrester. And Crad left on 12 HP, so round is complete. HAVU tying things up 3-3. And DreamEaters now will have to go down for the eco. Unfortunate start for them, but HAVU a great bounce back so early in this first half.
Yeah, indeed. Once the rifles have come into play, they have looked like the more dominant force, and that can be quite scary, especially if DreamEaters aren't able to fight back with said rifles, like you say at the moment. At best, a half buy, I think, for them. Not even that. It's a soft eco, let's say. A few upgraded pistols in there, but nothing else, really. Maybe the Deagles can do a bit of damage, but they're not expecting to take the round at the end of the day. Long range, Zori will find the opener, and I think that pretty much secures it in rounds like this. You know, it just, that sigh of relief when you know you're against a weak buy. If you pick up the opening pick, it's like, right, okay. Should be alright. Shouldn't get overwhelmed now. We have an advantage. Should be all good. So, we'll see what the plan is from DreamEaters. They might just try and overwhelm one player, but going to be difficult, like I say, with the weaponry they have available. But yeah, looking really good. You know, it just seems DreamEaters not really able to get the early advantages that they so desire. You know, it's so important to them, their kind of playstyle, like you were saying, especially here on Overpass, very slow. And it can be difficult moving into a site, especially because maybe someone's pushed a bit aggressively, you know, flashed in to get some information towards B, and they're like, actually, there's no one here. So with only 30 seconds left, it's got to be the A-bomb site. Speaking of the A-bomb site, though, as soon as I start to talk around the game rather than about the actual round, it gets a bit interesting. An AWP retrieved by Kinky has made this look a bit more doable. Twixie picks up Crad, and they know exactly where Kinky is. At the moment, it's good damage. Oh, and that was a key fight for Twixie to win. Oh, my goodness, a quick spin around to find Speedic as well. Good stuff from the solo player, as he will manage to find the round for his team, but it is a very, very costly one at the end of the day.
Yeah, especially losing 3 players in a round like that where they had a full eco, minus those pistols, obviously, but at least they can reinvest AWP to be dropped back out to Zori. Everyone's on the rifles, so at least just able to get that repurchase, and with Soren, the majority of the team realistically slowy, Zori keeping quite a decent amount of cash. It should be okay, but DreamEaters now on to their full buy. They themselves have actually played fairly reserved in this one, to the fact that they've not spent the entirety of their bank, which is actually a really good aspect for them, meaning they at least have a little bit more going into the next if so, but at the moment, Brad able to make his way out toward A long with the support of Kinky as well. This is the one thing that DreamEaters putting a lot of focus on early in this first half. It's this A-site control that we've not really seen them head toward B much at the moment. Maybe looking to exploit that during the latter stage of the first half, but so far, again, T-side shifting their way forward. Nothing too committed. Zore, though. The longer that DreamEaters leave it to make a push, the easier it gets for players like Zore, who just angle hold. There's nothing extravagant about their playstyle. It's just the fact that they can just take these angles, sit so comfortably, and be away with it. But Crad, a beautiful double lineup out of him, make it a third, and Kinky chimes in with one. Such a quick turnaround of the entire situation. And it's all down to Twixie. DreamEaters They reverted the entire mistake of that round, and well, it's theirs now in the bag. 4-4. T-side level things back off here.
Yeah, I think HAVU felt they had it in the bag and maybe getting a bit over-aggressive to seal the deal when perhaps they didn't need to. And Crad takes the opportunity, he runs away with it. Really good stuff, HAVU then. Just going to have to hope that the loss bonus will be enough. I don't think it quite will be, to be honest. Twixie manages to save. Maybe if it had been one of the richer members that could drop a weapon across, but I don't know. It's kind of tough, though. Your economy is so out of whack here as well. With Saw having so much money and like Twixie not having very much in the bank. It's a tough one. Yeah, they are kind of going to fully buy it, would appear, with Saw dropping a UMP across, and they're going to fully go for it. I feel like you kind of have to, otherwise what maybe ends up happening is that economy stays in such an awkward spot where you have like half the team being like, oh, let's buy, and the other half of the team being like, I can't though. So it's better, I think, to force through and have one shaky round, maybe lose another one here. But obviously in their mind, they're going to be able to win this. This is definitely a round that is on the cards, that is doable. And I think we as spectators can also recognize that fact. So pretty trying times. Nice bit of aggression coming in as well. They recognize they need it, and Slowy picks up 2. They will lose a man in the process, but they retain the man advantage, and a relatively good start for HAVU.
Yeah, now the fact that DreamEaters again are just sort of stuck in this really awkward situation where they have lost the first couple of duels, and again try and recoup their losses here. Crad looking like such a solid start for him in this series, able to again open up onto this A site, ensure that the bomb looking to be planted. Molotovs to keep the CT side at bay, and whilst there is a flank coming in from Slowy, he can take this at a moderate pace, might even aggress with his teammate through the smoke at this point. Does have the support to do so, and yeah, that's exactly the case. Crad will take down one, but now that he's already dispossessed and the Saw takes down Sviat, well, that all comes down to Speedak, a 1-on-2, AWP in hand. Not really one of the better weapons to hold in this sort of position, but not one of the worst either. He takes these duels 1v1. If HAVU will allow him to take them 1v1 is a better proposal, then we'd see it maybe coming to light, but not this time. Slowy does shut him down, 5-4. HAVU CT side again back into the lead. But obviously DreamEaters with the bomb plant, with the overall gain of money on that T side, they'll be having a plentiful purchase moving forward into this one. But a very close competitive beginning to this map. And I think this is now becoming the nature of Overpass, where games are just fairly close, as long as the sides are of similar level or of similar competency. A lot of these Overpass games that we're seeing in these past few days have come to this sort of early competitive start and have ended in a similar fashion as well. So it seems like Overpass is definitely one that you can at least expect double digits for both teams coming into it.
So confident, though, from HAVU. I kind of think it comes down a little bit to like the Finnish almost air of arrogance they have about them when playing Counter-Strike. I feel Alu is sort of the epitome of that, right? And it really does come across when they're playing. Not that it's a bad thing. It definitely works. You know, to me, it's kind of, if you feel arrogant about something, it's because you know you're good. You know you can do it, right? And they just kind of come in with that sort of vibe and this kind of thing, right? Getting aggressive, no flashes or anything really towards short. Getting aggressive towards long. They pick up 2 off the back of that play. But it's just the force buy round in the previous round. And we saw, would have been round 8 now, where the confidence got the better of them. DreamEaters were able to punish them on the, the over-aggressive peaks, but it seems once the rifles, have come into play, it does look close here, but you have to bear in mind the past 6 rounds have gone the way, 5 of them have gone the way of HAVU, and it looks like they're set to get another. But once the rifles have come into play, that confidence seems to work 9 times out of 10, and it's just fantastic to watch when everything falls into place, especially as it does there for Slowy. Kinky peeks straight into that angle he'd been holding all round. All going to be onto Speedic. A 1-on-5. Oh, crisp little shot onto Slowy in fairness, but just too many men coming in. He will get taken down. A 6th round comes through for HAVU, and They look set to break the bank of that T side, looking very, very good here on the CT side of Overpass. Again, the score, somewhat deceiving. You know, it is a little bit back and forth in some of these rounds. It does come close, but the vast majority of the time, it's the Finns who are coming out on top.
Yeah, and it's a real interesting one to see. Like, DreamEaters, yeah, they're really starting to put themselves in an uncomfortable position here. They've not particularly shown anything too much with these rifles, and like you said, the scoreline might tell a different story, but I mean, a couple of those were from the opening pistol, from the force buy rounds, so scores can definitely be deceiving at the moment. Dore going to be playing with that AWP on short. I mean, crazy to think that, beautiful shot though, onto speed axe it falls as well. I mean, I was about to say it's crazy to think that 11 rounds in and with so much money on the CT side, Slowy's still playing with an MP9, but I mean, it's working right now. There's nothing that HAVU are particularly doing wrong. They do have to course correct here. 6-4 looking like 7 right now, and the fact that DreamEaters again have lost those 2 early men with no recuperation of anything. Just a little bit of damage given to Hoodie, and he's going to be fine with that all day long. He's already got his first kill. He already knows that he can reposition. Honestly, looking like a much different DreamEaters side to what the series they played earlier is showing. Definitely giving us a little bit of a thought process or a thinking question just to the fact that how good are these guys going to look when they do get onto that stage of the major, once they do have to play against teams that arguably are even 5 times better than what HAVU are. And ATN, they've given them a good run for their money recently. They're challenged by a lot of European teams that I think DreamEaters on their day should be walking over. Kinky, nice little reply. Do they expect this close corner angle? Well, they check it, but to no avail. Lose 2 in the process. And it's all down to Crad. No time left. Bomb cannot be collected. And he even dies in the process. 7-4. Bank is still there, but it's not as competent, not as full as they would like it to be. They might buy off of the back of it, but in HAVU, it is looking really good for them so far. I've come out the door as the better team in this first map so far.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be the case. I think this is what we were somewhat expecting, a little bit close, but HAVU able to edge ahead. They just seem to have, again, that deeper sort of firepower available to them. Everybody really chiming in. There is a 3 frag discrepancy between the bottom and the top. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, there is a 10 frag discrepancy. So, you know, everybody is playing their part for HAVU, stepping up when it's needed. And then there is also the fact that, like I say, that confidence just seems so hard to deal with. Like, they swing out, they get a double spray down without flashes and things like that a lot of the time as well. It's very difficult to deal with. But they also, 9 times out of 10, seem to have a bit of a contingency plan just in case it goes wrong. So it seems like you can't win. I think that's what DreamEaters are feeling at the moment. It running the clock down, trying to catch them off guard doesn't work. Trying to go for early aggression doesn't work. Mid-round calls, they don't have much of an opportunity at it because they only have the 2 play styles, right? Aggression, lose the early picks, or run the clock down and try and win out a clutch situation that's only worked once in the past 8 rounds. So really tough stuff for DreamEaters. Pause definitely required. They talk about whatever they're going to do here. They will sort of get something out, but it's not a great deal to play with. I think it's the next round definitely where things are about to change, or, well, they hope things are about to change.
Yeah, and especially just with the fact that HAVU right now, they're already going to be taking the first half for sure. It's just about damage limitation now for DreamEaters. But we'll see what they can do, especially with a couple of rifles on the field. And definitely not take away the fact that CIS sides, these Russian teams do love to bring in just a single couple of rifles across the eco rounds to see what damage they can deliver when affordable. I mean, we saw earlier for Gambit Youngsters, it was actually a method that retrieved them a couple of rounds. So, see here, be a boost up. Brad, making the first kill. This is the start of something for DreamEaters. 55 seconds on the clock. Noise to be made and heard by Twixy. They might draw even a 3rd man to rotate toward this B bomb site. This is the one thing that DreamEaters didn't want. They want to be going into a site where the support is kind of lacking. Good tag onto Zore, though. Makes him a lot weaker as he tries to back away from that A site. 35 seconds here in Twixie. He's going to have to be the man of the hour. He does have the support out of Slowy. And there's the first. Twixie finds the second. Looking for the third. It's as simple as you like. An instant shutdown. And last man is Krad. So 8-4. This is going to see HAVU taking the first half victory. Rebuy to come from DE in the next. But HAVU have made that mark. They've already taken the first half. That would have been everything they wanted. And with still sort of the 3 rounds left to play in this first, could be seeing a lot more out of HAVU moving forward if this next gun round doesn't show up for the T side. So very risky business that DreamEaters are playing with at the moment.
Yeah, it's kind of disheartening to see. Got to be honest, it really is. Systemic destruction just across the board from HAVU so far. There was that slight blip, you know, and it looked like DreamEaters, maybe this is our chance, but no. And it just kind of smacks of desperation, right? Kinky goes jumping in like a headless chicken. No flash, no teammate in tow. I suppose he gets a bit of information, but it costs him his life. Thankfully, Forrester is able to trade one back, but Sviat left on 19 HP. Forrester tagged down slightly as well. Really not ideal. Not looking good at all. Twixie going to be set up in a bit of an off angle here as well. Confident with that AK that he can pick up a couple, but the bomb is rotating around T-spawn very slowly. 2 players up long, 1 player at short. It's very broken right now. It's very unsure. They're just hoping to catch off some aggression and get themselves some free frags. But again, going for the old run the clock down strategy. There's still a fair amount of utility available in places. Hoodie especially could devastate right now, holding the crack angle in at bathrooms. Doesn't shoot. Patience is absolutely paramount there and actually splits the T's up as well. Speedic opting not to go straight down connector, can't run through the Molotov, so he's going to be late. Holding down the flank, he's that AWPer as well. He's that star AWPer, in fact. Meanwhile, Twixie, ooh, in at Monster, only able to get 1. So that's not all bad. 10 seconds remaining. Bomb plant going to come in, or is it? Zori has got other things to say, and so does Slowy. It's all going to be onto Speedic. That late man, again, a quick flick onto 1, but not able to seal the deal. And HAVU, they get another round. Maybe close, you know, it comes down to the wire, but they're just controlling these rounds the entire way through. There's no real opportunities or openings that DreamEaters are able to exploit.
Yeah, this first half has already escaped them at the moment. It looks like it should be 10-4, and double digits for HAVU is picture perfect. DreamEaters definitely putting a lot of reliance into this overpass map pick over the past few series, and it's really not been paying off too well for them. Just for the fact that, again, they've not really had too much success off of the alternate attacks one. They lost that in overtime. Whilst they took it to as many rounds as they could, it was still not enough, and now this time being so easily dismantled. It's simple for Hoodie in this one. A 4K about to come, maybe not. Does get taken down in the process, but I mean, 3, 4, any discrepancy. The damage is already done at this point, so all that's left is for HAVU to clean up this round, but 10-4. Double digits is such a good half from HAVU. Even if they make it 11-4, it's even better. 10 is still so rewarding on a map that you've not been picked, but that you've not picked, but have almost been gifted by DreamEaters, right? I mean, 78% across, I believe, the 9 or so maps, whatever it was, 7 maps,
yeah,
whatever it is, it's still
maps.
A very tall task at hand for DreamEaters. For a win percentage like that, you know this team is hot on this map. So it's again, whilst they're picking a comfort map, more of a mistake to gift HAVU such a comfortable veto. It's Overpass and Dust 2, one of their 2 better, if not 3 better maps in train as well that they've been playing over the past 3 months. So yeah, DreamEaters, they've got a lot to live up for in the second half for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember them kind of pulling things back a little bit on their CT side, but I don't know, man. It's so difficult. There's not been too many crazy clutch situations or anything from HAVU. It has been them not dominating every single round. Some of them are brought close, don't get me wrong, but there's never really a true challenge. Just a little bit, really not having to sweat for it. But they're not quite in a position where they can just, lean back and lounge about. They definitely do have to concentrate a little bit. So it's somewhere in the middle of, complete laziness and super, super, super try hard and, wrecking yourself over it. Either way, can DreamEaters get this 5th on the board? That's the real question, excuse me, at the moment. But either way, it is, again, this kind of slow rundown style, not really effective in the vast majority of the rounds, but we'll see. Crad opens up. There's only one player in on the site in the form of Zori. He's only able to get one as well before he's traded and overwhelmed. Twixie in from behind will be a thorn in the side, a distraction. He takes a lot of damage for that kill, though. Another smoking towards Bank going to keep them out. Maybe he can get a drop here, but they seem to be ready for him. Smoke going to come through, buys a bit of time. He does actually manage to take down Speeduk, but traded back. However, I think that's going to hopefully create the room for his teammates. Another smoke coming in, though, is really going to make life difficult. Krad's up close and personal, fluffs the spray down. It's Hoodie and Slowy with a combined HP of 36. The clock round the corner takes out both blinded players. That'll be it. That'll be 10-5. It's still not brilliant from DreamEaters. They managed to pick one up towards the end. Really takes a long, long time, though. But we'll see. We will see whether they can pull it back on their CT side or not.
A very dominant run of play from HAVU. You can see 4 rounds and then 6 in consecutive as well. DreamEaters just only able to piece a couple together here and there, and they've still kept the sort of the kill discrepancy very close. Ending the first half with only 4 kills, or 5 kills between bottom and top is so good. A lot of consistency, whereas it's only gotten worse for DreamEaters. So we'll see what they can actually bring to a second half. But yeah, HAVU, as long as they start well on this T side, it should be a pretty quick map, realistically. It's going to require a lot out of DreamEaters, a bounce back that maybe on this map might be possible. Like you said, we saw them go fairly close on Overpass most recently, and I mean, considering they won this map just today in such a dominant fashion with a 16-5, definitely being challenged by these teams that are sort of borderline tier 3, tier sort of 2.5 kind of teams. So yeah, it's definitely up for debate. So we do have a little bit of a tech pause though, so hopefully nothing that is going to last all too long. But this is surely going to be playing on the mind of DreamEaters, just because of the lead that HAVU do have, but the lead that HAVU could have. If they take pistol in these first couple of rounds off of the back of it, that's 13-5 that DreamEaters have to face. So pistol's sort of paramount to stay at least somewhat competitive for the next couple of gun rounds that HAVU would be taking. So
yeah, I don't know. It's really difficult to call at this point. DreamEaters could certainly pick things back up on their CT side, and it would be nice to see. The only issue, obviously, like you say, we've got this pause. It's going to slow down the momentum for sure that they had briefly picked up towards the end. Also, they're just not feeling hugely confident. Like you say, it's daunting at the moment, to say the least. This scoreline and just also that sea of blue without the pistol. It could have been devastating. Luckily not the case, but so difficult to say whether it could be the case going into the second half. And if they can't get a grasp on the economy, it could very, very, very quickly fall apart.
yeah, and that's the scary part for DreamEaters. We'll see what actually happens in this second half of our first map here on Overpass. Of course, a short commercial break brought to you by the main sponsor of this tournament, Loot.bet.
Counter-terrorists win.
Loot.bet. Made for live betting.
Well, here we go. Pistol round underway. CT side of DreamEaters wanting to mount many rounds as they can early. Diffuse kit onto Spire, of course. Smoke in there as well. See what they can bring to this one. HAVU going for that utility play, of course. And going to be a real interesting T-side endeavor for them. Straight in toward Connector. Something that it seems like DreamEaters may have the read over, but first kill comes through. A trade back at least. A lot of damage inflicted across the board. Inky coming out a little worse off of that, but very interesting first sort of 15 seconds of a round there.
Yeah, a little bit crazy, a little bit hectic. Could have been even crazier, but not the case. Forrester set up, waiting for them to come out of Connector. Twixie going to push through. It does look like they are heading towards that A-bomb site. Nothing too obvious as yet. DreamEaters having to wait and just play it patiently. Almost caught maneuvering. There's the shoulder peek coming through. Twixie will spot out one. It's not quite enough to sell the idea. Kinky in the corner is hoping he does not get checked. Not going to be the case, I don't think, as the utility starts coming over. However, he gets proactive and he finds two. Sviat going to get one as well off the back of it while everybody's distracted. All going to be onto Saw in a 1-on-4. It may rhyme, but I don't think that's really going to help him very much. Flank coming through. Forrester does some good damage and buying more and more time for his teammates. Takes a wide peek, though, and Saw going to take him out. That clears the way to B. I feel like they're going to get this information in. Maybe not, though. They are certainly planted on the A site. Are they going to split up here as well? I think this could be huge, especially in the pistol round. It makes life a hell of a lot easier for Saw. No, not quite. Sphere is watching from pretty much as far away as you possibly can. And the issue is he can only really see if he comes in from short, which is not going to be the case. However, he will cross on towards site to go for the safe plant just in time and brings it now into a 1 versus 2 retake. They do have a kit available. He knows where Sphere is coming from. May well have realized they're both coming in from heaven. Definitely does now, but not before his head gets taken off. And DreamEaters save the rounds. At the very least, though, HAVU managed to get the bomb plant after a pretty crazy individual play from Kinky, getting 3 in total. It could easily have been a hell of a lot more one-sided, but I'm sure they'll be happy with the recovery. But DreamEaters, this is where they get the ball rolling.
Yeah, this was the round that they needed, and they've really gone and got that now. HAVU as a Finnish side, of course, loving their force buys. They did that against, I'm pretty sure it was Unique in their series previous, so they love to take the force buy. What a utility. This now gets really interesting. A lot of deagles, a lot of mollies. Offensive nades. Always good in a round like this just to force out opponents, but HAVU, they do make their way out toward a long. All 3 players who were in close contention have committed to that now, so at least some information to be gathered. A minimalistic rotate out of DreamEaters, though. Just send one man up to Garbage, who probably does dip back toward Heaven fairly soon, just because they've slowed down now massively. But either way, it is looking at least like HAVU should be able to get a couple of kills out of this round, just for the fact that they have those pistols in hand. Always a deadly asset. Speedak going to go for the boost. They were aware of it, though, and well, they only find one. Closing down. Speedak able to close off. Slowy and Zore. That's a beautiful chunk of damage done. 2 players dead now. Back into a 2-on-2. Do they know that both of these players are coming from these CT angles? 35 seconds just gone, so bomb can be retrieved and planted. Soon as they work out these positions, soon as Zore swings, well, Forrester's dead. It's all onto Crad. And as he does find one, Slowy comes out on top. HAVU, what a beautiful round of force buy that pays off here. And well, they're back in driving seat. DreamEaters, they have to eco a force themselves, and it seems like it should be a force buy, which it definitely is, and this now really gets dangerous. Lose this one. HAVU get a free 13th round. This is not in the textbook for DreamEaters. This is totally out of the left field.
Pretty tough scenario DreamEaters find themselves in then. What can they do to recover this? Oh, that's an unfortunate peek from Crad as well. Hoodie very ready for it. And it looks like they've found their opening into this round. It's a bit of a heavier A play, as is the nature of Overpass. You know, as you can see, quick rotation through from Kinky, proving the way the map works, the nuances of said map. He's going to get aggressive ahead of that smoke. Does peek out to find one, but traded back. I mean, you know, nice for him to get a kill. Extra $300 going into the next round. Bomb plant going to be coming in. Aggression coming in meanwhile. Sweet finds Saw picking up said 5-7. Thankfully, Zori is there to trade things back. So, bare minimum of 3, but DreamEaters in the same strain, doing a tiny bit of damage, making sure there's some rebuying coming in. So, the T-side economy is still modest, let's say. It's not crazy, but it's more about the score at the moment. We love talking about the economy. It is that brilliant part of CS that splits it from other FPSs, but it definitely is all about the score. DreamEaters, meanwhile, their economy very weak, still going to have to eco things out, and it's HAVU surely up to 13, and one more rifle round to stay in on their map pick, and so far it's been domination as well. This is really scary stuff for DreamEaters.
Comes down to the fight back in the CT side, realistically. If they lose the first gun round, they can almost for sure say goodbye of this first map, unfortunately. But, of course, that is very retroactively speaking. Twixie going to be pushed on the edge of the smoke. Has to try and stay alive. Does have support from his teammates. They do actually lose out the first man. This is where things do get a little sticky, just for the fact that you've always got to be careful with eco rushes like that. Now it should just be a full commitment toward this B site. They don't want to divert back towards A because that, again, expends time, but it also leaves them fairly weak to being caught off in these positions. Now look at this position from Forrester. One that actually I do use in MM myself when I play it, but a beautiful molly that forces them out. So that's a really good check from HAVU, just ensuring that barrels can't be inhibited, because pistols from that sort of angle can pop off massively, and well, it's just a really good set of games. And Saw takes out one. No way to wrap up the third. And Svaya, last man alive, 13-6 on at the board. Buy round of DreamEaters. Well, it's one that is of most paramount importance. You lose it, and 15 they can surely say goodbye to. And HAVU would be having overtime security. Here we go. It comes down to it. Will they go for a double AWP? They don't have the money to do so, so should just be Speedak taking his, unless Kinky glass cannons, which is always a possibility, but DreamEaters need more security and stabilization than flashy plays at the moment. So yeah, a single AWP, rifles for the rest, no defuse kits, sincere lack of utility. It does look fairly weak, unfortunately.
Well, to stay in it then, to keep this map alive, DreamEaters are going to have to pick up this round. A nice start coming in as well. Kinky on top of the boost there. I believe to take down a frag on short. But all the same, I think so. Maybe not, now that the CTs are walking through. Not entirely sure where that kill came in. In fairness, that boost is normally designed to look through the window. It might have been towards the top end of connector. This is nice, though. It's kind of the reverse. Surely they're not expecting a second boost. And it would be correct. Forrester finds that kill speeder could also taken down one. So once the pressure is on, DreamEaters step up to the plate. They bring it into a 5-on-2 very quickly indeed. And so and Zori, although they have been two of the better fraggers for sure on this HAVU side, they have got it all cut out for them. And I feel like this might just be a bit too much of an ask. Yeah. Sphere going to take down both in the end there. 7th round for DreamEaters. How much further does this go, though, is the real question. It is a good start to the comeback, but a start nonetheless.
And it has to be a couple in a row from DreamEaters here. HAVU again have the money for this purchase. It's, again, fairly weak if things go a little wrong in this round, so an eco surely to be on the cards, but HAVU have found it a lot easier to bounce back from this sort of position than what DreamEaters have, and looks like more of a quicker boost themselves out toward this B-bomb site, up toward the, of course, generally obvious short boost, I think, which was spotted. And a nade out, though, that might deal a great chunk of damage. And, well, it actually does. Brad going to be wiped off the entire face of the earth there. And whilst the second man is in position to provide a little more support, this does now again weaken this DreamEaters side. They haven't even seen a man at the moment. But I've already lost the first player with 3 now rotated toward this B bomb site. Do HAVU commit to this or not? It seems like they will play more of a default for the boost out of Forrester as well. See what he can pick up from having a peek, but nothing off it yet. And HAVU playing an evident DreamEaters style here. Clock is ticking. Bomb has yet to be collected and will be only done so at the 30-second mark or around. It is back towards B. This is a really iffy setup from HAVU. It started really well. They should have maybe commit after they got that kill, just so the rotate wasn't able to be made. But now with 3 players already on their way back toward the B-bomb site, this gets a little dangerous, but time is of the essence. Kinky. Oh, he gets the first, second, third. Oh my god, trade's so quick. But it is all down to Slowy. Will be able to put the bomb down, but I doubt he survives after this. The HP is way better for Forrester than it is for him, and smoke isn't going to stay there forever. That was dissipated. Good read out of Forrester. And DreamEaters, there we go, the round they needed. 13-8. HAVU do put a bomb down, but success out of the CT side again.
Yeah, definitely looking a lot better on this CT side of things. Again, though, as we saw in the previous series, how much of this comes down to complacency from HAVU after having such a dominant start. Love to see this as well. I'm hoping this is a tactical pause because, you know, I always sing the praises of these early respectful pauses, let's say. So I'm hoping that's the case from HAVU, talking things over before it gets out of hand, because it has looked really, really good from DreamEaters. They just realize this should be an insurmountable task for DreamEaters if HAVU can turn things around. That's kind of the goal of this pause, I would feel. Probably just a half buy looking at what Twixie's got as well. So should be another one for DreamEaters. 1 or 2 more rifle rounds and suddenly things start to look a bit more doable. But like I say, we understand that. And we're simply the spectators. The boys in the game, HAVU, I think they fully understand that as well. And this reputation that DreamEaters have kind of picked up over the past couple months, particularly after the minor, that they do have it in them. They are a very capable team. So you have to be aware of that fact. I feel like at this point, though, it's a bit more of a technical pause, but all the same, I'm not sure. Maybe the admins are a little bit more active here, but usually in the online CS, they are still kind of allowed to talk because it's a bit more difficult to monitor than the offline stuff.
Yeah, I think it is a tech pause. Yeah, I said it is a tech pause, so we'll see. Hopefully, nothing too constricting that again can damage these players. But we'll see. Looks like it could even be a server issue again, potentially. Okay, there we go. We are live yet again.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, there we go. You don't want to pause this long, or for that long, this deep into a game. It can kill things off, but fortunately, just a small one. But pistol round out of HAVU, so wasn't the worst time to have a tech pause, but DreamEaters, they should be able to get a 9th on the board and at least push for double digits. I mean, HAVU by next, but DreamEaters looking at least a little more settled on the CT side, which they were against ATN as well, so seems like this map is definitely a tough one for them to win. It always comes close, but they do have the means of doing so.
Nice little double from Kinky. Nothing else really coming. There's a bit of armor here for Slowy, actually, but unfortunately he goes down very quickly, so yeah. Nothing too exciting going on. They managed to recover it. The initial frag comes in because Kinky's a bit overwhelmed by, 3 or 4 players coming at him at once. Nice pick up from Zori, to be fair. So again, keeping that CT economy modest, not letting it expand out of control. Sorry, makes this look a little bit more interesting. These are isolated 1 versus 1s. This one's against an AWP, but Speedy. He will find a quick flick as he always does. And a 9th round for DreamEaters comes in. But that's actually ended up being a bit of a costly one for them coming into the next rifle round here. And I feel like if HAVU take this, they break the bank. There's no loss bonus stacked up really anymore for DreamEaters. And I think they might just win the game off of it. So this is a really, really important rifle round that DreamEaters need to take themselves in order to, again, extend their lifeline.
And with the fact that HAVU are only a couple of victories away, especially with the economy that will be out of the hands of DreamEaters, essentially has to be clean here from the CT side for the next 2 or 3 rounds just to ensure that HAVU are fairly limited. Get up to either 11, 12, or 13 without HAVU gaining, and they'll be in a very sweet spot, but we'll see. No AWP in the hands of that T side, of course. Maybe through choice, as Zori is onto the AK can or could have afforded an AWP with his full Kevlar and full set of utility, but I think a T side up for a side like this will restrict them. Kinky, that's beautiful though. Off of the back of the smoke, finds himself the double. Zori, whilst he does return a kill, it still gives the advantage over to HAVU here. 45 seconds on the clock. The smokes do work out to slow them down, but they're going to go straight through them instead. Forrester seems aware. Great damage done. Sviat's there to clean up. Soar is very low. And shouldn't survive and doesn't. There we go. 13 to 10. DreamEaters double digits now confirmed. And HAVU, they're on this downward cycle, this rough patch where it's constantly buy, lose, eco over and over again. So another 3 round surely going in the hands of DreamEaters, even if HAVU do go for these upgraded pistols, which they do, but shouldn't be amounting to too much in DreamEaters. They're right back in this now. The momentum has shifted.
As you prophesized, the half-buy comes in, and it should be a fairly easy pickup for DreamEaters. But yeah, it's starting to look a bit scary. Again, though, it's just kind of this question of, where has this been the whole time? I suppose the CT side has been a bit more dominant from DreamEaters, but they lose that eco early on. And allow HAVU to get a bit of room, bit of breathing room, and really extend their lead. And then they turn things around. Still, it is starting to look a bit more doable, but this is generally where we see the team in the lead come alive again, is when that lead is severely under threat, as it is at the moment. Looking relatively good from DreamEaters in this round, not losing a single player. In fact, it's Siviet and Kinky doing all the work there. Beautiful stuff from them. So they do have a bit of bank built up, even if they lose this one here. But obviously they are hoping not to, because it will allow them to even that score right up. HAVU, meanwhile, they recognize the facts. Need to figure something out, pull something out of the bag, a bit of a magic trick of some kind, because the conventional setup is really not working for them.
And it's coming down to HAVU and their fight back in this game, especially considering now that the CT side have been able to build up quite a depthy bank balance. So 1-for-1 trade out very early. That maybe could have even saved the life of Kinky if he'd have shot a little quicker, but all theoretical, of course. Will reposition toward toilet, give himself maybe the chance to get behind these players. HAVU, they're just going to straight shift walk up towards short, and I don't think that DreamEaters actually have a single idea about this. Sviat is definitely somewhat aware, but now that the utility comes in, this is sort of locking him out. He has to get at least 1 kill very quickly. Well, he's already dead. That's a really good entrance to the bomb site by HAVU, and as Twixie closes down 1 more, DreamEaters go for the save. 13 turns to 14. And HAVU, for the first time in a long time, get themselves a T-side round. They'll be keeping 4 players alive. A beautiful way to stabilize going into the next round. And seems like all is, as it seemed, back on track potentially for the Finns. But 1 round in a plethora of many secured by DreamEaters still isn't confirmed yet. But still, HAVU put themselves 1 step closer to at least guaranteeing overtime. 2 needed now to close out this first map, but getting closer, and that's the scary part for DreamEaters. They will have a rebuy, of course, but money isn't going to last forever. And we'll see what they can do with this next round. 26 coming up. HAVU again wanting to finish this off quickly, get into Dust 2, and be on their way with the series. Double up for both Speedak and Crad. You love to see it. It's a versatile setup that works for DreamEaters. A lot of money spent on that. Still some in reserve, but it's cutting it close now for DreamEaters. That's the scary part.
This is kind of what I was on about, though. You know what I mean? When it's like, where has this been?
Yeah.
And as soon as HAVU find the correct formula, they're just able to shut it down and destroy all the hopes. And then it's kind of like where the game generally falls apart, because you sort of let those thoughts of what if, you know, and what's the point kind of thing creep in. Let's just go to the next map. It can be very difficult in a situation like this to stay so strong and confident in yourself. It is a real tough scenario. Even, again, in the online realms, it is very, very difficult to deal with. But you never know. Like you say, the buy is not terrible here. And they still have room for more. Double up setup is often something that teams fall back on and use it to great effect. Crad has not been a bad secondary AWPer at all across the course of these few days. So are you going to jump down? Oh, that's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Catching Crad with an 8-out, but I think even with the AWP, he wouldn't have reacted fast enough. Twixie as well, going to act off the back of a flashbang. 5-on-3. Looking really good. More frags coming in as well. Kinky is going to manage to get a clean little spray down. Can he find anything else? I'm not entirely sure. Not looking likely as they start to encroach on towards the site. He will, in fact, find another. But gets traded back sharpish. Speedic misses a shot, and it costs him his life. 15-11 map points. The map of DreamEaters, once again, just to reiterate, going into Dust 2, which I think is going to be HAVU's playground at the moment. They seem to be winning a lot of the 1 versus 1s. It is looking very, very worrisome. A pause coming in. But what is this going to do? I mean, the money is there, but it's not comfortable at all for the DreamEaters side.
This is where it gets so unfortunate for DreamEaters, just by losing 2 of the more important rounds of this first map. They now have very little to fall back on. Crad, Wyatt, not able to fully invest. Speedak will have his AWP, but has to resort to dropping out SMGs, and it's never a good sign. Forrester will be able to purchase. Whether or not he goes for a second AWP is questionable. Kinky can get a rifle out. Maybe an exchange of AWP for rifle there from them two, but a lot of ifs and a lot of buts riding on this round. See what DreamEaters can bring to light here. Yeah, you can see they're fairly limited. Not going to go for the double AWP, which is fair enough. 2 rifles instead. A pistol in the hands of Sviat. Add on to the MP9. Even if HAVU do lose this one and the survival is on for DreamEaters, they've got to face against another full buy coming, which again just limits their chances so much. But we'll see how it goes. A minute 40 and already some dedication toward the B site. Is Twixie going to try and go through the smoke? I hope he doesn't. Yeah, he's not going to just yet. Smoke back down from Crad as well. Maybe giving him a little more wiggle room in toward tunnel approach. But so far looking least good for HAVU here. Kinky's very aggro, which I mean, he's getting a lot of info off of it, but it does depend what they do with it here. The aggressors and find some kills, then sure, this works. Speedak going to be flashed, but no one approaching from party. This is a really nice read from HAVU so far. The entire A site is open for the taking. A rotate will come now, but I think the flank's been realized. There was a T in behind him, and all they have to do is swing out, take the kill, and that's exactly what Zorre does. A beautiful piece of transcribing the info. Speedak shoots 2 preemptively, and whilst he takes 1, he's already dead. A rotate down toward the B site now, and HAVU have the advantage in their back pocket. It all comes down to Crad and what he can deliver. He'll peek out towards short, potentially. Flash was great, and he will find a reply, but dear, oh dear. 3-on-3, and again, a limited arsenal for the CT side. 20 seconds on the clock for HAVU to work with, and first man will fall. Hoodie to return again by Forrester. A trade out, and they keep themselves alive. DreamEaters, it comes close. It cuts fine. The CT side stays in it just for one more round.
Looking good then for DreamEaters to, at the very least, gain a little bit of momentum at this point. Kind of consolation rounds, maybe, but it's still all to play for. Only time will tell what these rounds really mean. They could be the beginning, the spark that lit the flame. We don't know yet. HAVU have got one more buy left in them before the bank is broken. So seriously need to think about cleaning it up before we go to overtime. It does seem, like we've said across the course of the map, overpass is a real close one for DreamEaters more often than not. They really like to make it difficult for themselves, that is for sure. But we'll see. Very slow start to this round as bits of utility expended. They're trying to bait out peaks here, I think, HAVU, by, you know, flashing in towards middle. They hope a person from long pushes, but nobody around. Everybody playing patiently at the moment, and first one to move. It looks like it is going to be DreamEaters. Speedic taking an aggressive angle. Zori takes him down, though. That is a key frag to find. 4 HP left on Zori. That's huge. Combined with the fact that they'd already picked up one, but Sphere, he brings it back. 3-on-3. In towards long makes life difficult as well, and the push is thwarted. They're opting to go back towards B. Check this angle. Nobody ever checks it. Crad is able to get a free one onto Twixie. Low HP for Zori now comes into play, and Crad has moved since his first frag. Looking really good here. A brilliant, brilliant play coming in from him. A 3k overall, but huge read as well that they were going to rotate back. It's a 13th for DreamEaters, and like I say, that economy of HAVU is broken. Not quite all the way down, though. They could go for the force.
I think that's something they should consider at this point, just for the fact that, again, they will get the bonus that's generating. A plant can also add an effect in there. But it is going to be pistols instead, so fair enough. Going to be fairly limited, but we know what these can do. We know for sure that pistols can start to overpower, especially with this much utility on the side. Really start to have an impact if they work it well, but it seems like they're going to dedicate the B site up towards short. Forest, a nice burst, although that's what I'm saying, the utility's perfect. Now into a 2-on-2. So much damage done in a round like this where HAVU, again, were fairly limited. Bomb will cross the site, get the plant down, turn that tick timer to 40 seconds. Kinky and speed at for Zore. He'll take down the first. Oh dear, it's all down to Speedak. 1-on-2. A rifle picked up for Zore, and surely they hear him stomping about toward water. And as he does slow down, has the defuse kit and a smoke to work with. Drops the smoke, tries to go for the peek, will spot nothing, takes down. Isolates into the 1-on-1, but I think he was spotted, and yes, he was. Zore, he'll take the final kill. He'll close the game itself, 16-13. And HAVU, they swipe away the map pick of DreamEaters. Again, close fashion, as we know, is the DreamEaters' way of life, but a map that they didn't want to lose going into Dust 2, as you mentioned. HAVU's proving ground to come forward.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man, because, again, we know that they've got it in them. We know that they look good, but it just takes them a bit too long to come online. Again, same as yesterday. And not yesterday, the day before, sorry. And it's just really tough to watch, honestly. I'm sort of disappointed because the potential is there. They can do it. They just need to tap into that before, you know, like 14-8 comes about, or whatever it was. And I think it was 13-8, but all the same, It's sad to see, but you never know. Maybe the momentum that they've picked up will help them out going into Dust 2. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, and we definitely will. 10-minute break to come between this map and the start of Dust 2. HAVU's map pick coming up. DreamEaters on the fight back already in this series. We'll see what they can bring in around 10 minutes time or so for our start of the second map.
Counter-terrorists win.
Loot.bet. Made for live betting.